Most people think the internet works through satellites. You open a website, stream a movie, send a message, or join a video call, and everything feels wireless, invisible, almost detached from the physical world entirely. Modern digital life feels so smooth that most people rarely stop to think about how information actually moves around the planet. It simply appears instantly, but the vast majority of the global internet does not travel through space. It travels through giant physical cables lying silently across the bottom of the ocean. Because underneath the oceans is one of the largest and least visible infrastructure systems humanity has ever built. Thousands upon thousands of miles of fiber-optic cables stretch across the seafloor, connecting continents, economies, data centers, governments, financial systems, cloud infrastructure, and increasingly, artificial intelligence systems themselves. And without them, large portions of the modern world would stop functioning almost immediately. The internet often feels abstract because users only experience the final layer of the system. You tap a screen and information appears instantly. But behind that interaction is an enormous physical network constantly moving huge amounts of data around the world every second of every day. Because the internet is not actually wireless in the way many people imagine. Most long-distance global internet traffic travels through physical infrastructure, and much of that infrastructure sits deep beneath the ocean, across the Atlantic Ocean, across the Pacific Ocean, through the Mediterranean Sea, across Arctic routes, between islands, continents, financial centers, and giant data center regions. These underwater cables quietly carry enormous amounts of global internet traffic every second. Streaming video, cloud computing, financial transactions, government communications, AI infrastructure, military systems, cloud storage, international business operations, video calls, social media. Huge portions of modern civilization now depend on these cables continuing to operate continuously. And most people have no idea they even exist. Because unlike airports, highways, or power plants, underwater internet infrastructure remains almost completely hidden from everyday life. But the scale involved is enormous. Some submarine cable systems stretch for thousands upon thousands of miles across deep ocean environments under extreme pressure and difficult conditions. Specialized cable-laying ships slowly place the infrastructure across the seafloor while engineers carefully map routes designed to avoid underwater hazards, fishing zones, volcanic regions, shipping routes, and unstable terrain. Inside the cables themselves are fiber-optic lines transmitting information at extraordinary speeds, using pulses of light moving through glass fibers thinner than human hair, which creates a strange reality. Huge portions of modern civilization ultimately depend on tiny strands of glass resting silently at the bottom of the ocean. And maintaining those systems is extraordinarily difficult, because the ocean is one of the harshest infrastructure environments on Earth. Storms, saltwater corrosion, underwater earthquakes, fishing equipment, ship anchors, seafloor movement, extreme pressure, accidents, geopolitical tensions. All of these can threaten underwater cable infrastructure. And when cables are damaged, the consequences can spread quickly, because modern economies increasingly depend on uninterrupted global connectivity. Financial markets rely on ultra-fast communication between continents. Cloud infrastructure depends on constant international data movement. AI data centers rely on enormous global network traffic moving continuously between regions. Governments, logistics systems, streaming platforms, corporations, and communication systems all depend on these underwater networks remaining operational every second of every day, which means a major cable disruption can affect much more than internet speeds. It can affect economies, and cable failures happen more often than many people realize. Fishing trawlers have accidentally dragged equipment across submarine cable routes. Ship anchors have severed major connections near busy ports. Underwater earthquakes have damaged multiple cables simultaneously during seismic events. In some cases, entire regions temporarily lost large portions of their international connectivity because critical infrastructure routes were damaged unexpectedly. Because despite how futuristic the internet feels, the infrastructure underneath it remains deeply physical, and physical systems are vulnerable. And repairing these systems is not simple. When major underwater cables fail, specialized repair ships sometimes travel for days before repairs even begin. Crews use advanced mapping systems to locate damaged sections somewhere deep beneath the ocean surface. In rough weather, repair operations can become extremely dangerous. Massive cable spools sit on board specialized ships while crews attempt to recover damaged infrastructure from deep water environments under difficult ocean conditions. Large mechanical systems slowly lift damaged cable sections toward the surface before engineers begin carefully removing and replacing broken portions. And once repairs are complete, the cables must be lowered back onto the seafloor again with extraordinary precision. Because unlike ordinary infrastructure, these systems operate in environments most humans never even see. And despite how important they are, underwater internet cables remain surprisingly fragile, which is why redundancy has become extremely important. Many regions now rely on multiple cable systems connecting different routes across the world. Some infrastructure routes intentionally connect through entirely different continents or oceans, specifically to reduce the risk of catastrophic disruption if one major route fails. Because modern civilization increasingly depends on uninterrupted global connectivity, and artificial intelligence may make that dependence even larger, because AI infrastructure requires enormous amounts of international data movement between data centers, cloud systems, semiconductor infrastructure, and computational networks. Large AI systems increasingly rely on giant global networks, transferring huge amounts of information continuously across regions and continents, which means the future growth of artificial intelligence may depend heavily on infrastructure most people never think about: underwater cables. And this creates another layer of geopolitical tension, because many submarine cables connect major economic powers together directly: the United States, Europe, China, Japan, Singapore, India, Middle Eastern infrastructure hubs. Huge portions of the global economy are physically connected through underwater infrastructure routes, crossing oceans and geopolitical boundaries simultaneously, which means these cables are no longer simply technology infrastructure. They are strategic infrastructure, because disrupting communication infrastructure between major regions could create enormous economic consequences. Financial systems could slow, cloud platforms could experience disruptions, international business operations could suffer outages, government communications could be affected, AI infrastructure could lose critical network capacity between regions, and governments increasingly understand that risk. Some countries now monitor submarine cable infrastructure extremely closely because of its importance to military systems, intelligence operations, economic stability, cloud infrastructure, and national security. Entire sections of the global internet now depend on relatively small numbers of physical infrastructure routes across the ocean floor. And concentration creates vulnerability, because despite how advanced modern digital civilization appears, much of it still depends on fragile physical infrastructure hidden beneath the sea, which creates a strange contradiction. The internet feels futuristic, wireless, and almost virtual, but underneath modern digital life are giant physical systems: data centers, power grids, cooling infrastructure, semiconductor factories, and thousands upon thousands of miles of underwater cables quietly carrying civilization's information between continents every second of every day. The internet is not floating invisibly in the air. It is deeply physical, and some of the most important parts of that infrastructure sit silently at the bottom of the ocean. Because behind every streamed movie, cloud platform, AI response, banking transaction, and international video call is one of the largest hidden infrastructure systems humanity has ever built, and most people will never see it. And as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and global digital infrastructure continue expanding, these underwater networks may become even more important to modern civilization than most people realize. Most people will never see these cables, but increasingly, modern civilization depends on them. This is civilization underneath. New documentaries weekly,